Hey everybody, welcome to our midweek moment. Pastor Nicole here. So glad you could join us. Well, this summer we are spending time looking at the parables of Jesus, those stories that he tells that teach us something. And we're doing that through our sermon series, Storyteller. This weekend we looked at a story of unexpected growth. The parable that Jesus tells of a man who takes a tiny little mustard seed, plants it in a garden, and it grows into a big, huge tree that can house birds. And Jesus tells us that this is what the kingdom of God is like, that from a small, tiny little thing, something great can grow. One act of love, one act of kindness, of forgiveness or grace can have a domino effect that can create something much larger, because that's how the kingdom of God works. And it is sort of counterintuitive, right, to think about that something so small could become something so big, that one tiny little act could change the trajectory of history, that one act of love towards one person could grow within that person to become something that person then does on a grander scale. So I was reading through commentaries to prepare for this sermon, and there was one quote that didn't make it into the sermon, but I really loved, and so I wanted to hold it and share it with you on the midweek moment. So it says this, the author wrote, "To seek after such a countercultural kingdom, one must look where the world isn't looking." And I was so challenged by that, because I think it's natural for us to look in certain places for change, right? Like we look to our leaders in our government. We look to people who have power and wealth to change things and to make things better in the world, because we think that, we as just normal everyday people don't have that kind of power, don't have that money, don't have that influence that we need to change the world. But what Jesus says is we do have that power, because the kingdom of God is not built by people with incredible wealth or incredible power. The kingdom of God is built in tiny little seeds that grow into big, huge trees. And as a culture, that's not where we're looking. We're not looking to those tiny little everyday acts to change the world. So this commentary writer kind of challenges us in thinking about that. If we really want to bring about this kingdom that is countercultural, it is not what our world looks like now. If we want to build that kingdom and raise it up, we have to look where other people aren't looking. So instead of looking to influential leaders, maybe we look to normal everyday people and what they are doing, the good they are doing in the world, and how it is growing and becoming something bigger. Jesus often redirects what we are focusing on. In his teachings, in his stories, I'm reminded of the story where he tells us that we have to have faith like a child. Not faith like a Pharisee or a Sadducee who, have all of this influence in their culture at the time. Jesus doesn't tell us to look to pastors and preachers of mega churches and all of that. He says, no, you should have faith like a child. He's redirecting us to look in a different place, in a place that maybe we wouldn't look otherwise. He's showing us how the kingdom is countercultural, that it's not where we think we should be looking, but it's somewhere else. And so the challenge is for us to then take the time to look in those other places where people don't normally look for the kingdom of God to be growing. I find that to be a huge challenge in my own life. Maybe you would find it to be a challenge in yours as well, to really prioritize those little tiny acts of goodness, because that's how the kingdom of God is growing. So this weekend, if you were worshiping with us in person or online, at the end, I challenge you to think about one way that you could build the kingdom this week, one mustard seed that you could plant, one act of love or compassion, forgiveness or grace that you could show to somebody else so that the kingdom might sprout from that little seed that you planted. I encourage you to maybe write down an idea or put it into your phone. And so I just want to remind you to make sure that you are planting that seed this week. Because so many times we get busy with life and we maybe don't take the time to plant those seeds. And if we don't plant the seeds, the kingdom can't sprout from an unplanted seed. So I would encourage you again to think about a way that you can build the kingdom of God this week. And that seems so overwhelming, but it's not, because Jesus reminds us it's in a tiny little seed that a tree can grow. And it's in one tiny little act of goodness that the kingdom of God sprouts from. So find that one little way that you can build the kingdom this week. Go and do it. And you know what? I would love to hear about how you planted a seed this week. So please report back to me. You can put it in the comments. You can send me a private message and email. Tell me when you see me next time. And just let me know, what is it that you did? What little kindness did you do to spread the kingdom of God? Not only am I interested, but maybe it'll be a little bit of an accountability too, that we can work together to build the kingdom of God. So as we go about our week, maybe scatter some seeds, maybe look in those unexpected places to find the kingdom that is growing and thriving. And maybe we be encouraged by that and be reminded that the kingdom of God doesn't look like the kingdoms that are set up on this earth. The kingdom of God is countercultural, illogical, something so other than what we experience from those kingdoms. So let's be a part of building the kingdom of God. That is exciting to watch grow. So I hope you have a great rest of your week. Join us in person or online this weekend as we continue on in our series. We are going to be talking about the parable of the unfair paycheck this weekend. So you won't want to miss that. And we'll see y'all soon. Have a great one. Bye.